Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Pleb Underground, the signal without the slop. We are pumping. That's right, guys. Over $130 million worth of shorts liquidated. Yeah, looking good, guys. Let's freaking go. Yeah, you know the deal. Let's take a look at some of the topics we're going to cover. I mean, maybe I just kind of predicted this, right? Yesterday when I called this thing the institutional flows are about to surge into Bitcoin. No, I'm kidding. I did not predict this, but it's looking good, guys. Let's we got to take the wins when we get them. Searches for dollar debasement have soared. We're going to take a look at that. There's some cope coming out of Bloomberg, obviously, right? There's some cope. We're going to take a look at that. Apparently, Bitcoin is flashing some recession warning signs. I guess we're getting some mixed messaging. Yeah, we've also got a French banking giant that is stepping into the world of Bitcoin and crypto trading, and of course, Bitcoin conference in Abu Dhabi. I believe it's called MENA or MENA. Anyways, Saylor is out there. He's doing the salesman stuff. We're gonna take a look at some of that. We're also going to take a look at the Bolivia story, right? This whole Bolivia, Bitcoin. Yeah, guys, obviously we're going to actually take a look at the details instead of just imagining the hopium that we think is happening. Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary. Pretty funny guy. We're going to watch a little clip on that. And Bitcoin privacy, BIP 89. It's like, wait a second, I thought this was a Bitcoin channel. I didn't realize we were going to talk about actual Bitcoin. Yeah, we're going to talk about Bitcoin. Anyways, guys, we're going to take a look at that. You know the deal. Before we do any of this stuff, we're going to give a shout out to the Pleb Underground sponsor, Archimedes Emporium, and we are going to be right back for all the fun. Let's freaking do this. Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium. That's right. Okay. Let's get started. Of course, right? Who mentioned the institutional flows? Who else but Kevin O'Leary? Anyways, let's watch this clip. This is kind of a bit of hopium and copium, I would say, because even though he gets Bitcoin, right? None of us are better than our incentives, and there's no worse feeling than guys like him to have quote unquote missed the boat, right? So they need to find something to make it about themselves. Anyways, obviously just my opinion. Let's take a quick watch and see.
You have to own to capture 90% of all of the crypto market's alpha or pricing volatility is simply Bitcoin and Ethereum.
You just need Bitcoin. Ethereum is complete crap. We've already gone through this 1,000 times. I'm not going to sit here and debunk it over and over again.
You don't need anything else. And so this is really, really hard medicine for all of the people that sponsored all of.
What's really hard medicine is understanding that the better system is not proof of stake. Okay, that's what's really, and these guys like him cannot wrap their minds around that.
These other chains and other platforms, because now they face the reality, which I think is a cleansing, a good thing, a spatula cleaning from all that poo-poo coin out there that's just pure speculation. But it also says the maturity of the market is looking at the numbers because the big money's about to come in. So if you were just in Bitcoin.
Yeah, the big money is coming in and has been coming in. And the number one coin since the beginning, right? Since Bitcoin started, right? There's been millions of other tokens, lots of marketing. Guess who's been number one for 17 years? Bitcoin. Everybody else just dances. They all just dance to be the first loser, the second loser, the third loser, but that's all that's happening.
In Ethereum over the last 8 weeks, you've done so much better than own the poo-poo coins.
Okay, you know what? Okay, can't even make it through this thing. Sorry, guys. We're going to take a look at this fucking ETH BTC chart because I guarantee you it might be pumping on the day, but yeah, exactly. This Here you go. Okay. Not that it matters, right? But this is the long-term ETH chart, right? These are the monthly candles for ETH since its inception. This is not a bullish pattern, guys. I'm really sorry. This is exiting out of positions. Anyways, to each their own. Not saying that you can't make money, in the casino or any of that stuff, but I just, if I had that big of a platform, I wouldn't be wasting my time with shitcoins. I'd just be telling people about Bitcoin.
And the poo-poo coins aren't going to come back unless they can give you a use case and you...
Nope, wrong. They don't come back. There is no use case. The use case is exit liquidity. It's always the same. All right. There's only so much Mr. Wonderful Copium I can handle. He's just so terrible, right? But, he said the magic word. The institutions are on the way. See, that's all it takes, guys, right? Oh, look, the institutions are on the way and we're all happy. But in the meantime, it's just complete. It's just the typical Mr. Wonderful garbage. Okay, anyways, guys, yes, wicked. See, he's pissing off people sometimes, right? Even though he makes great charts, he upsets people with his takes. That's okay. We all do, right? But yeah, people are bearish on Bitcoin. Google searches for dollar debasement. When the hell has anybody in your everyday life talked to you about dollar debasement? I can say that I had never even heard that until I started to question where does the money come from and who is issuing it and where do they get their power to issue the money? Like that was the first. So unless you're actively seeking, you're never going to see this. So yeah, I'm going to take this as bullish. Why not? All right. Take that as a win. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Mike McGlone. This guy's been coping for I don't know how long. So apparently Bitcoin is flashing early recession warnings. I guess today's pump. So take a look at this. What did we do today? We went from 90 and change to 94 and a half. I got to tell you guys, that is not bear market activity. Okay, that is just not bear market sentiment. This is a market that is currently wanting to be optimistic. However, there's a bunch of data that has to come out, and people are just being indecisive, right? That's the feeling I'm getting. I'm getting the feeling of cautious optimism. Not seeing the Bitcoin recession warning signs. But again, I'm not a person who spent their entire lives being indoctrinated by fiat economics, so I could be missing something totally obvious. But yep, just not seeing it, guys. Just not seeing it. Oh damn! Look at that. He's actually calling. Look at that. Warns that it could revert to 50K. Oh, nice. So now I know we're not going to 50K. That's like, to me, that's like the same thing as having Kramer call the death of Bitcoin, right? These guys, they're just, so this reminds me of that green chicken dude, Doomberg, right? Two cycles ago or last cycle when we went to 69K, he was like, I see Bitcoin at 5K and we're going to be a buyer there. This guy's gone, fucking wrecked, okay? That stupid green chicken never ended up buying, he got wrecked. Yep, same thing over here. Same thing over here. Nothing but cope. Nothing but cope. Okay, so the French banking giant Banque Populaire to launch Bitcoin and crypto trading for 2 million retail customers. That happened yesterday. We haven't actually, I haven't seen any numbers. I was looking for numbers to see because right when Vanguard came out, we got over $5 billion of inflows reported by them for their product. So I was kind of thinking that maybe in France we would see something similar, get an idea of what kind of volume that they would have gotten. Anyways, I'm gonna dig. Maybe we got something more today, All right. Hey, Plastic. Hey, Z Logic. Bitcoin Shango. Oh, you know what? I feel bad. Bitcoin Shango wanted me to mention about the 25 states that are implementing age verification in the US, right? KYC to access parts of the interweb. I haven't actually read that article or anything, but if it's the same thing that I'm thinking of, it has to do with porn and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's kind of old news, I guess, and I don't really see anything wrong with that, so. But who knows? I got to go digging into that. I didn't actually look into it, but it just sounds to me like it's more of an extension of that ruling that already came out. So, the law that was passed. Okay. Anyways, yeah, that's right, guys. Saylor Hopium, let's frickin' go. He's in Abu Dhabi. Michael Saylor says he's meeting with all the sovereign wealth funds, every single one of them. He's meeting with all of them. All right, let's hear what he had to say. And this is, I think, Simon, the CEO of Metasplat. Yeah. So
I've been meeting with. I've been obviously meeting with all the sovereign wealth funds.
all of them.
I've been meeting with, I don't know, 50, 100 different investors, hedge funds, family office investors that are interested. I've been meeting with banks and people that own banks or run banks. I've been meeting with fund managers that offer financial products. I've been meeting with regulators in every jurisdiction. And I think, and my message, by the way, is very, very straightforward. My message is we now have digital capital. Bitcoin is digital capital, is digital gold. On top of digital capital, we have a new asset class called digital credit. Digital credit strips the volatility from the capital and provides yield, income. So the simple idea is, if you have a 5-year-old kid, you can give them $1 million worth of land in Manhattan, that's capital, and tell them wait 30 years and then maybe they'll be rich, but there are no cash flows. Or you can give them a credit instrument that pays them $10,000 a month forever, starting now.
Okay, well, I'm going to just show my ignorance because I obviously think about this all the time. Because I'm trying to be accurate, right? Like I'm trying to think accurately about this. I don't want to lead myself into hoping or whatever it is. But so why haven't people really done this with gold? Like why is it that gold miners actually have to sell gold? Couldn't they just continue to hoard gold and then just issue shares in their public companies based on the gold that they hold? Like, why is that really different? Anyways, look, again, right? Big player, 660,000 Bitcoin, right? That he's hanging on to. Obviously, if you're a Bitcoin hodler, you don't want to see MSTR become the giant fucking credit card, the credit mortgage crisis type of collapse. We don't want to see any of that stuff. And this is why I harp constantly on the fact that they need cash flows. And look, it's funny, right? He's offering cash flows, but yet his own business doesn't bring in enough cash flow. So anyways, but look, I'm going to say this. The signal is that people are trying to see if they can fit and more specifically, right, these sovereign wealth funds, they are trying to see if his investment vehicles work for them. Yeah, I know, right? Z-Logic. Now that would be an interesting one, wouldn't it? Right? What do we say then? Right? Like, what do we say then? Okay, well, so he's Bitcoin Satan. No, I'm kidding. Okay. But look, it's I just get really worried because indeed, right? Like it's no secret. It's financial alchemy. Yeah, look, man, plastic. I hope again, right? I hope that he can pull this off, right? I'm just very weary. That's all. I'm just very weary because the business itself doesn't actually generate income, and the only money that he's been able to produce is by creating debt, offering bonds, and creating these different vehicles where there's just no new money coming in. Again, without issuing debt, issuing parts of your company. So it's It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Okay. Anyways, let's go take a look at the Bolivia stuff. Oh, hold on. Before we get into the Bolivia stuff, we're going back here. Best case scenario. What are you saying, Z-Logic? Best case scenario, MSTR can be a legit Bitcoin bank, but no guarantee. Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. So this is the other thing though, right? As the money breaks, we become very detached from reality, and reality becomes detached from math. And like we're kind of on that runway of detachment, so yeah, I agree. Debt is overrated, and of course, right, debt is only good when you can service it. So, and yeah, yes, agreed. Plastic, agreed. Saylor is taking advantage of a broken system. I can't disagree with that stuff, right? Like it's just exactly, it's like it's just I'm cautiously optimistic, but at the same time, I get that he understands how the system is broken, and he's like, I'm gonna push on this and see how it breaks. Anyways, it's look, he's an interesting figure, right? And what he's doing has obviously never been done before, right? And we're gonna see what happens. And I'll tell you this: if what he's doing does end up working, if you think critics like me are really that bad, we haven't seen anything yet, because believe me, the JP Morgans, the Goldman Sachses, all those guys, they're going to hate this guy big time. Okay? They already do. They already do. That MSCI crap and JP Morgan coming out with their product right after those announcements. Coincidences, right? Just coincidences. Okay, to the Bolivia stuff, guys. The Bolivia stuff. What were we saying? Bolivia to integrate Bitcoin into its financial system, according to Economy Minister Jose Gabriel Espinoza. So unfortunately, though, right, had to dig into this a little bit, digging into what they were actually talking about, and they didn't mention Bitcoin at all. So the Bolivian government plans to incorporate cryptocurrencies and stablecoins into the national financial system as part of its modernization efforts. This was announced by the country's Minister of Economy. Due to the devaluation of fiat money, residents and businesses are increasingly turning to stablecoins, particularly USDT, to preserve capital. Since September, car manufacturers, including Toyota, Yamaha, and BYD, have begun accepting Tether's stablecoin in Bolivia. And I did a little more digging into this, and there is no, like, if you go to check to see, okay, what cryptocurrencies has Bolivia officially said that they will accept along with stable coins, there is none. They haven't mentioned Bitcoin by name. So that's important, because to me, again, right, it's the same Pied Piper crap that we see over and over again. We love Bitcoin. Bitcoin's great. Bitcoin's going to do all these magical things. Take a look at our stablecoin. It's just the rinse and repeat crap that we see over and over again. And it's just unfortunate, right? Because as Bitcoiners, and especially the Bitcoin media outlets, it's always about Bitcoin, right? It's always about Bitcoin. But guess what? To the countries, right? It's not about Bitcoin. It's about maintaining control and ensuring capital flight doesn't take place. And you do this by keeping everybody in the gates, inside the moat. It's that simple. It's that simple. How do you do that? Do that with stable coins. Call them CBDCs or don't call them CBDCs. I don't care. But it is. It's all it is. Anyways. All right. That's right. Besant. This was, I got to tell you, I really think that this is part of the fourth turning vibes. Is it not? I mean, the Treasury Secretary, I mean, look, obviously they don't have the best relationship. However, he just threw them right under the bus, right? He just chucked them right under the bus.
Is that the Fed is turning into universal basic income for PhD economists. Right. That I don't know what they do. They're never.
It's always been like that. Okay, it's always been like that. This has always just been UBI.
right. If you were to
Maybe you should double the number of PhDs. If you go to 700, they might get it right.
well look, I mean, if you were to look at the central value tendency versus how they've done, it's shocking.
Right.
It's shocking. You know, I said, like, if air traffic controllers did this, no one would get in an airplane.
I mean, beyond that, right? I think it's safe to say if the government would issue share worst run business in humanity, and you would never actually own their shares because all they do is lose money. But it's an interesting, I think it's an interesting perspective from Scott, because he's saying the quiet part out loud. I think that not too many, yeah, there you go, the closeted socialists. It's always about keeping things in the moat, right? It's always, so who knows? Maybe, right? Maybe we can say Scott is kind of pushing this narrative because right now this narrative is popular and it's acceptable. Maybe, you know? Maybe that's it. All right. Hello, Alvio. And all right. Yeah, Scotty, the finance scientist. Oh, that's great. Okay. Back to the stories. Here we go, guys. Now we've got some cool stuff. All right. Bear with me. Here we go. So, one of the best things privacy-wise that ever happened in Bitcoin, okay, since MU-SIG-2. I'm assuming he's talking about multi-sig. Anyways, BIP89 chain code delegation enables private collaborative custody by letting delegates withhold BIP32 chain codes, allowing co-signing without exposing full XPubs. So this is huge because as of right now, if you have used a multi-sig where you did, right, you're exposing your XPub, well, guess what, right? In that situation, what people don't realize is that every transaction, so first of all, every address that you're ever going to generate after that can be known, okay, to the person that has your XPub, number one. And number two, they're going to be able to see everything you ever spend from those addresses into perpetuity. Now, of course, right, it's like, who cares about the little old me? But it's not just about little old me, right? It's all these different people that are doing all of these different financial transactions. And let's face it, right? Privacy is important. As much as some people like to frame privacy as criminal activity, which it is not, okay? Privacy is very important. And I'm happy to see that something like this is in fact being worked on. This was kind of, I can say that this was definitely one of the things where I was like, I don't like to share my XPub because now I know that, you know, that particular entity, if they so choose, can pretty much just monitor me for the rest of my life. So from that wallet, right? I mean, obviously I can go and generate a whole new seed and all that good stuff. And you know, they'll never see that. But the point is that now all of a sudden, all of that is completely exposed. So yeah, it's, I think it's a good thing. I think that's a win, right? BIP89, good stuff. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it. It's going to do it for the episode today. I hope you have a great rest of the day. And plastic, absolutely. Run, join market, or coin join. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, hold on a second. Sorry, guys. I've got some more comments here. The same ones in positions of power. Yeah. Privacy equates to criminal intent. Yeah. Encrypt the crap out of their own data. So that's a very good point, Bitcoin Shango, because I remember when first, you know, like back in like 2017, 2018, I didn't quite understand this yet. So I had to hear it a few times. But the people and the governments that censor the most are going to require a censorship resistant ledger the most. So indeed, right? Indeed, that is exactly what is happening, right? These people, like, of course they're concerned with privacy because they want to make sure, right? Those governments, specifically even, you know, like Christine Lagarde from the ECB, it's important that they know what you and me are doing. That's what matters. Okay? It's just absolutely wild. It's rules for thee and not for me. And this is the first time in history that we've ever been able to break that cycle in a really difficult way to stop. That's Bitcoin. Anyways, guys, have a great rest of the day. I am going to catch you tomorrow, 12:10 p.m. Eastern. Have a good one. That's right. Private citizens and public governments for the win. Take it easy, guys.